Now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, expects Kenya's economy to grow at a slower pace this year, but sees inflation remaining stable despite uncertainties over the sweeping tariff moves by the US. The IMF projects that Kenya's GDP will grow 4.8% in 2025, which will be 0.2 percentage points lower than the 5% growth rate projection in October 2024. NTV's Brian George reports.
IMF's revised global growth outlook comes amid the continuing discourse among policymakers and market participants on the impact of the 10% tariff placed on Kenyan exports to the US. The direct impact of the US tariffs is seen as mild, but indirect consequences are seen to have deeper and more devastating effects to growth prospects. Inflation is, meanwhile, expected to remain stable and below the 5% target by the National Treasury.
The target as of December, that was on the ordinary revenue, we had seen the numbers. Looking at the structural benchmarks that ideally should have been the focus of the 9th review, there were delays, notable delays in meeting some of them, and also some of them have not been met. Yeah. So it was not surprising that the 9th review could not be completed. So that didn't catch us off guard from that perspective.
The average inflation rate in 2025 has been set at 4.1% in 2025 from a previous projection of 5.1%. The lowered economic growth projection for Kenya in 2025 forms part of wider pessimism for global growth as countries continue to assess the direct and indirect effects of the US tariffs.
So inflation for the region, for the median country, has really significantly come down. So we saw a peak towards the end of 2022, close to 10% for the median country. Now in February, the latest is around 6% only. So that's very, very encouraging signs. About half of the country, what we see is there is still some room, hopefully going forward, for them to cut, and so there's again this downward trend that we see.
The IMF does not, however, expect the global economy to slide into a recession this year, and instead projects a growth of 2.8%, albeit a downgrade from 3.3% in October last year. Brian George, NTV, Nairobi.